go by Duck. I got the cool young guy haircut today, I think, right? This is what we do in our midlife crises. We get the cool haircuts. Hopefully the audio is good for everyone. I'm going to go pop over, put up a little welcome message and the whatnot. But we've got some cool stories today. And yeah. And we'll see where it goes, right? See where it goes. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Do. Yeah, and so obviously the big story that's come out is the indictment of the SPLC. We also have an update from the election. Virginia did pass the redistricting effort, a temporary redistricting effort. So that's something we can talk. Yeah, and so outside of U.S. politics, geopolitically, we had more news coming out that it appears Iran has either picked up, or there are some cases where they felt that the ceasefire was inclusive of some type of strikes on boats. And so there's this thing going on, right? Obviously, keeping an eye on global peace. And what else? Who knows? We've got another big step down from the Trump administration. The Navy secretary has left the building, folks. No, not permanently, but he is out of that sort of position, that role, those types of things. So lots of big stuff. And yeah, let me go ahead and drop this in here too. Should the SPLC or and it is still Earth Day, everyone. Also, happy Earth Day. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day, dear everyone on Earth. Happy Earth Day to you. Yeah, so shout out, welcome everybody. Yeah, so I had a good Earth Day. I was very lucky. I got to go out for about a mile of trail running or so today. So I did spend about 20-30 minutes around the mountain areas here in Arizona, Southwest United States. Hey, what's up, Too Famous 2? Good to see you. That sounds like a rap name. Too Famous 2, Toucan Sam, too cool. Shout out to you. Yeah, and so that's very nice. Even in the desert where, oftentimes the trope is there's not enough sort of like foliage or greenage and stuff like this. It was cool to just get out there a little bit. A lot of fun, great exercise too. Whoa, happy birthday to you then. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, person I don't know, but also happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. So happy birthday. Yeah, you got a 422 birthday. That's awesome. And the most exciting thing to me is that, if you share a birthday with Earth Day, lots of cool stuff. Earth Day is a great reminder that, you're a valued member of planet Earth. So dab on it for another year, and another year for Earth too, right? So we'll celebrate both things. Lots of opportunity to make a more peaceful world, peaceful society. Lots of opportunity to learn about science, learn about nature, learn about the stories and the narratives and the characters that have shaped the Earth to be what it is. That's also true in our sort of small forms of life. Hey, what's up, Coconut? Good to see you as well. Ducks are awesome. Yeah, ducks are definitely included in Earth Day. The channel's just called Ducks. Why? Because I like the animal ducks. And I don't think that'll ever change. But in the meantime, speaking of ducks, we do have a lame duck president officially in the United States today. We saw Donald Trump taken down a peg, especially his sort of quest or this almost like spirit grift to try to get a what's it called? like a new definition of MAGA Republican parties into the zeitgeist and the mind of the American people. So we always see these large cultural changes and shifts in politics. Sometimes people want you to believe that less taxes makes your life better, or they want you to believe that magically more taxes makes your life better. More stuff in the right place, more stuff, more stories about stuff, more honest stories, those stories about honest stuff and honest stories about stuff stories. These are all things that happen in politics, not just in the United States, but all around the world. And it's always interesting, the sort of like conspiracy bro kind of side of this is like, well, yeah, the conspiracy or the lie, the dishonesty is that oftentimes this stuff happens because there's some bigger issue. They want you to forget about big oil and energy. They want you to forget that you're allowed to have values about wishing people happy birthday, wishing, we had more time to get outside, wishing we could just be appreciative of the trees, the air, the clouds, all this stuff. And so to me, the story is important. It is important if we see another one of these sort of spirit grifts, or we'll call it like a political playbook, right? Tugging at your heartstrings, lulling you to sleep, these types of things. It's important to see that stopped in the United States. Yeah, the world is now just a huge grift. Yeah, stuff separates us from animals. Yeah, our social self, right? I got that one handled actually. And so if we are human animals. We're also social animals. And it's just amazing to me, when people want to go out and study geology or biology or write poetry, we're still using the same basic languages that we have been for now about 400,000 years. And so to me, this is evidence that we as humans, you evolve, but we don't evolve away from each other. We don't evolve away from the earth. We don't evolve maybe from some of the basic philosophies or instincts that we as people have. And call me, yeah, cool. Hey, instead of call me Kamala, I would say call me Kamala, right? I would say, hey, what up? Not a big deal, if I'm gonna be the quiet revolutionary or something like this, I'm gonna tell Kamala Harris, hey, give me that space, give me 25% of my space to get into your camp, and the other 75%, let me go work for the people, The world is a giant grift. It can be, when you have a car, you've got a rent payment, we got to buy new food every month. Oh, yeah, it is all this stuff that's just, but that's also metabolism. That's just also the metabolism of society and our own metabolism. And so, yeah, I would encourage people have a little bit of that positive attitude, right? Wouldn't we want that positive attitude? And so, yeah, maybe finding something to be celebratory about, and also something that we can be, I don't know, who knows? We find the middle ground or something like that. That would make sense to me. Vulcan Andrews, hey, shout out to you. All I know is under Biden's admin, random things on Amazon were insane amounts of money, and that has ended. Yeah, Donald Trump is actually giving what is the number? Very large number of tariff money right back to importers, so business owners. So Donald Trump shook everything up on the world stage. Some people would say making a difference for the future of America and for manufacturing in America. And it turned out to be one of Donald Trump's biggest and most successful grifts ever. And to me, I think this means that Donald Trump's success makes the American people the losers in this case. Donald Trump has made the American people the losers. So we break trust with some of our closest trade partners. We tell very old allies that provide some stability, like Korea, like, look, you guys make decisions based on what the United States wants, not market logic, not based on sort of principles of freedom or cooperation. And so to me, this is America last. You basically break a lot of stuff and give money to people who don't need it. And then on the other side of it, the long-term costs, the long-term costs are going to add up. The irony here is Donald Trump was just talking today. He said the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz in the Iran war is costing Iranians $500 million a day. This thing's costing not 5 million, not 50 million. He said $500 million a day. And so the irony of this is Donald Trump's recklessness on the international and world stage is probably costing $500 million a day, but it's also that big bucket of peace that we should be buying with it, right? Not the trillions of dollars of military expense that the United States is going to put out over the next 10 years, the billions, hundreds of billions that we put out each year already as it is. But yeah, it's just this petty stuff. It's the stuff so he can build more, co-conspirators on social media, co-conspirators on Fox News. Hey, make it easy. It sure does make it easy, guys. And, I'm up here. I'm trying to tell a story to you guys, also trying to be a bit of a soothsayer or truth teller. And so if Donald Trump thinks he can go out, and a short guy, small YouTube channel, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to shut up. Hell no. But it does make it easy. You guys want to hear this message that tells truth, or I think hopefully builds an ability to think critically, make up your own mind, think about politics, philosophy, religion, whatever it is. Drop it in the chat, guys. I thank you so much for being here. The like button's always free. That supports me. And outside of that, I just want to be here to support whatever. You guys are having fun listening. Cool. But yeah, Donald Trump wants to give people money. That makes them a lot easier to talk to. I don't know what that's actually like, right? In any real world grown up, not small world, not the DLC package world. That's absurd, to think that I'm just going to give you guys billions of dollars and it doesn't matter where it came from. And that's so you guys will listen to me and be nice to me. You guys will be so nice to me after that. This makes Donald Trump, I think, an anti-competitive loser. It makes him look and feel like the kind of guy who's unwilling to stand up and do the right thing, right? To me, this isn't about like red pill masculinity or anything like this. It's just saying that, look, if you can be a quiet listener and contribute to a shared goal, that's what leadership is about. And it's not even just that. It's even remembering that, yeah, maybe I'm the guy with the microphone or something like this, but I too can shut up. I don't even have to be listening. So I'm going to go ahead and go down, scroll through the comments. Welcome. Good to see everyone as you guys come in. The panel versus Cap tonight. It's on you now. Hey, what's up, Steelman? Yeah, I'll have to get a StreamYard or something sometime soon or later. Go start doing some panels and stuff like that. That would be cool if you guys want to call in. Right now, I'm just on a cell phone, that type of deal. So, but yeah, the advantage, I like this format because I can read chat at my own pace. You guys can talk. Usually on the DucksY channel, there are like some pretty high quality comments, stuff to think about. So yeah, if you guys like hanging out for a minute or two, that's cool. If you guys want to stay longer, that's also super cool. All I know is under Biden's, I read that one. Gravity belongs separate us from the reptilians. No limit. And UFOs. What up, Numinous? Yeah, gravity belongs. Yeah, do hard things. I guess do hard things, focusing on ourselves so we can focus on those leadership traits. Focus on being truth tellers. I think focusing on being peace, right? This isn't meant to be like a cult-like environment. It's meant to be critical thinking. So what a novel change of pace. Do the gravity belong. Do the gravity belong. Don't be like the reptilian. But this is just so we can be critical thinkers. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Hey, that sounds like a good use of my vegan toast and eggs, folks. Call me Greta Thunberg, send me on a flotilla, whatever you guys want to do. But if I can be a little cooler like you, just by kind of relaxing a little bit, yeah, I'd do that. I would do that. I would think about what I actually want. We need to get away from dependence on China. That's my 2 cents. Yeah, China, boy, they got a, wicked juju coming to them. China's got their own economic opportunities and challenges. They're doing a lot of things the right way. They're taking care of people outside of the sort of biggest cities like, whether it's Beijing or Shenzhen or Hong Kong, they're taking care of people all over. They also have great education, university systems. And yeah, those things have to grow and evolve as well. And so to say that, well, we have to be the ones that stop the spread, right? This is the Charlie Kirk logic. It's uneducated, it's uninformed, it's baseless, it's words, right? It's words and grammatical. It's not actually about political strategy. And so again, not about red pill, not about no pill, black pill. It's not about masculinity, but in terms of that masculinity sort of thinking, I don't see this as somehow being upright, bold, strong, mysterious. I don't see this as somehow being honest. I don't see this being intrepid for no one's sake except your own. I think if we are saying this message that we have to compete with something that we don't even know because we got scared of it, hey, that's not my geopolitics. That's also not my United States. That's not my identity as an American citizen and as a cosmopolitan, as someone that wants to be able to travel anywhere, that wants to go be able to work anywhere. These are the things that get me really excited. It's not jumping into something that I don't know what it is. It's actually sitting back in my chair and saying, well, when I jump, you're not going to miss it. Eagles attack is in a coma, something to celebrate about. Hey, all I thought about there was something corporate, bro. Neen stream. Yeah, we're gonna do. If you guys want emo singing lessons, you guys can drop blue or teal super chats. Blue or teal super chats. I'll do emo singing lessons. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't charge for those. Larry Pittsburgh, $1.66 billion. Hey, that's a number. Oh, that is the number of the Trump tariff refund program, the stimulus, right? Going back to, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Peter, Paul, and Sally, or something like that. $1.66 billion. Yeah, and shout out, a lot of respect for people that are Shopify, Amazon sellers. You got a retail store, who knows? You have to import stuff. And so you're getting some of your tariff money back. The world is saying thank you for buying and selling stuff, but I understand this in the business side too, if you had trouble getting your margins up over 20%, or getting them to that next sort of threshold where you can do something. Okay, big business guy here. That's not my problem, right? That's not the problem of the people that I elected. It's not the problem of Donald Trump, even if you elected him to do something about it. No, it's not. That's just called life. Welcome to capitalism, buddy. Welcome to capitalism. That's not so bad. You do $1 million in sales, you have $200,000 extra cash. You want 250 or something. So Donald Trump is going to go rob from the poor people to go pay you that extra money. I don't think so. Right? That's theft. It is theft. It's theft. It's extortion. It's violence, right? And this is also, let's just call in mind, because it is Earth Day. This is after Donald Trump has pulled out of the Paris agreements, the Paris Accords. So there's no environmental protection. There is fewer and fewer U.S. resources going to climate impacted regions and other developing nations that have a need for some of these humanitarian resources, developmentally minded sort of things. So instead of one, we get the other, right? Instead of one. And so if you haven't seen incredible waste and inefficiency in US businesses, hold on, buddy, because that's coming. And I'll be honest, I'll get out of my seat, I'll go write a blog post on LinkedIn or something, or I'll go read what the management consultants at McKinsey or Vanguard are saying. However, I don't want to spend a ton of my time babysitting someone that owns a business. You own a business. You didn't ask for a babysitter. You won't be babysat. And yet you go do something and you say yes to the check. And so it looks like you need to be babysat. Just some shout outs. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Thanks for coming through. Rolling backwards, we got Mr. Marvin. Yeah, shout out Mr. Marvin. I agree. Chosen Law, Big Street Cat. Hey, Andy's here. What up, Andy? Hope works. Hope life's good. Shout out to you, Brett Schmidt. Is this empty means? Yeah, shout out. User Kieran R. Hey, what's up, Kieran R? Good to see you. Was that you that I was chatting with in posts? If that was you that I was chatting with posts, shout out to you. United States, United Kingdom, what's up? Good to see you guys. I'm going to keep going through these comments. You guys can always tag me at DuxY. I'll show you real quick in chat here, just so you know, at DuxY. If you guys tag me, I'll jump down to your comment. But otherwise, I love reading what you guys have to say, and kind of sharing my 2 cents on it. Mr. Sniffles tonight, man. Mr. Sniffles, whew, holy Moses, holy mackerel. That's what I get when I exercise, dude. Ooh, man. Yeah, if you're a young person and you can go to the gym and, just clear your mind, feel a little hot, beautiful, whatever, not the aesthetic side, but, we all either find or have found mistakes, things we want to improve. We have a vision. We have a sort of I mindset on our training plan. Get the most of it. Everybody's been there. Everybody who does like the gym thing, gym bro, diet, fitness stuff. But yeah, the other side of it too is like, this is also for me now, not to sound like a bro, but this is my opportunity when I go running or when I choose what I'm going to put into my grocery cart. It's a small reminder, small chance to do something good for other people, good for myself, maybe lower impact on my own body, this type of thing. So yeah, I'm a 36-year-old old guy, whatever. So for the folks younger, older than me, whatever, that's my 2 cents on that. I don't get this obsession with Trump, says Joe. He's not going to be around forever. Who will be the boogeyman then? Wow. Hey, good question. Hopefully there isn't one, right? I don't want a militaristic society. And people like Charlie Kirk, who advocated for Christian nationalism, and then also these politicians who said it's okay to lie or be dishonest or be inauthentic because we wanted some of the clout. because we wanted the sort of recency, the popularity of MAGA republicanism. You know, to me, it's not that there are bad people. The boogeyman to me is that there's this attitude of lackadaisicalness, irresponsibility. There's this attitude that there are unavoidable negative forces in our society. And so we just, we kind of cower under the big, strong Donald Trump. Donald Trump isn't that strong, and we're seeing this today. We're seeing he's losing more and more influential people around him, and they're coming up with like these very stupid, seem like political prosecutions, including the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. And so, yeah, if I'm saying that Donald Trump is a boogeyman, or we have to find a new boogeyman or something like this, I don't believe it. I think it's an attitude, and it's about accountability. If you guys check the video description and the thumbnail mentions accountability, mentions my own values. I talk about, hey, look, let's talk. Sure, you want to talk liberty, cool, but let's talk about justice. Let's talk about civil liberties. Let's talk about the civil rights movement. Let's talk about this stuff still. Let's talk about ethical forms of capitalism. Let's talk about cooperating versus competing versus spending money on the military versus spending. You're already going to be spending hundreds of billions of dollars on the military. So why would you invest in a Pete Hegseth, right? Why would you buy a little purse size, a little wallet size, a wallet card Pete Hegseth, who's going to go around and tell you that we need to buy more real estate to store more bombs. We need more real estate to store all the troops we're buying. We need more real estate to store all the Northrop Grumman's and all the Boeings and all these other military contract defense providers, these security companies. So you're buying a bunch of stuff, and then you buy people, you vote for the people to go buy more and more of the stuff you already are buying. There's no sense making in that. It increases risk. It increases the risk that your sons and daughters are going to go off to war. And if you're just a person in a democracy and you're saying, well, I don't want to be part of an economy that's paying to go kill innocent people, well, hey, here's your sign, right? Donald Trump has been about that. He's been about that since 2016. He's been about that since 2012. He's been about that since 2008. Donald Trump has been about this since the 1990s. Since as soon as Donald Trump started changing his own diapers, he has been about convincing you to allow him to be a violent man in politics and in society. This guy's he's not every other celebrity, right? He's not somebody who, gets drunk on, the Real Housewives and slaps their friend, or, says, well, your husband was hitting on me, right? That's not Donald Trump. He's not that type of reality star. He's not a warrior. He's a violent man. He's a violent man who can't manage the level of power and prestige that he's achieved in our society. So what's prestige actually about? Well, prestige is about honesty. It's about common sense. It's about being able to negotiate these conversations with ourselves prior to giving them to other people. Let's go, baby. America hasn't been a United States for 1,000 years. The United States is relatively new, if I'm not mistaken, just to my point earlier. Yeah, I mean, that's partially true. Yeah, the United States is 300 years old, 350 years old, whatever the actual proper date, place, time is. But that's not an argument, right? That's an argument to explore the history. It's not an argument to break down or deconstruct the impact, the negative impact, right? Because if you're spending 100 billion and you want to spend 120 billion, that's $20 billion you have to account for, right? There's not a historical definition of that. Those are planes, trains, and automobiles, right? Those are human lives. How's it going? What are we talking about? All kinds of stuff. I will touch on this. This is from user. Yeah, the SPLC story came out today, and I know this is going to be so boring for people not in the United States, but Southern Poverty Law Center, it's an organization located in the southeast United States, so in the Bible Belt. The Southern Poverty Law Center is located in our Bible Belt. It's where a lot of the political Christianity comes from and lives. And yeah, very valuable part of the United States. It's part of our culture, part of our history, not part of our heritage, not necessarily part of our identity. But yeah, it's part of the United States. But the Southern Poverty Law Center has typically stood up against racism, against religious extremism, racial extremism, and tries to track down, well, who are the people, groups, locations, what do they do, where do they get their money from? And so Donald Trump his Kash Patel feller has indicted the Southern Poverty Law Center. And so we will have to wait and see what the courts say. But from my recollection or my understanding regarding this, the SPLC has said, has basically paid informants for information. So Some might say this sounds like investigative journalism that is perfectly within their charter as a 501c3 or 501c4. Others, and we'll have to wait to see what the courts say. So if you guys are experts on the law, experts on the situation, the scenario, whatever it might be that's going down right now, yeah, leave a comment in the chat. I'm going to be excited when I get down there to maybe become more informed. I've been a Lichten little fungi. Hey, what up, Germany? What up, Germany, I guess. Hey, shout out to fungi. Shout out Earth Day. Shout out to all fungi on Earth Day, all birds, fungi, not viruses, right? But definitely viruses, right? On Earth Day, viruses are not part of our tree of life. So something like the C19 or any of these other sort of viruses, there's beneficial ones. There's viruses living in our DNA as humans. These are not part of the tree of life. Interestingly, they're not categorized as life, but on Earth Day, they are part of Earth. So we can all celebrate them together today, guys. So shout out fungi, shout out viruses, bacteria, everything bigger and smaller. Hot take, James Brown is the best live solo artist on Oat. I don't know what that mean. I don't know what it mean, bruh. I don't know who James Brown is. I don't know what Oat is. Good to see you again, Andy. I'm just scrolling past your username, dude. Hey, what's up, Big Street Cat? Good to see you. Thanks for the Harry Potter lightning bolt. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, and we got makeup brush too. We got the makeup brush too. Thank you so much. Appreciate the gift, guys. Yeah, those gift jewels are a lot of fun. This will be really quick, but yeah, if you guys want to send gift jewels, super chats, memberships, you're always allowed to do that. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Just love you guys being here. Again, chat makes it all worth it for me. And yeah, and the second thing is if you're new to the jewels on YouTube gifting, either for me or other creators, if you see a little purple sign, a little purple exciting sign on the jewel that you might send, that means it pops up, it actually plays with me. So they're all fun, they're all cool, they do add up. A little bit of support goes a long way over time. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. So consider either supporting me or other creators with some of those exciting jewels, and just any support's awesome. Back to it, guys. Back to it. Back to it, sir. Back to it, sir. All right, guys. I'm gonna get my Clark Kent gear on. I'm gonna get my Clark Kent Superman, YouTube Superman D-Gen gear on. No, I'm just kidding. We ain't changing much. I just did get my little plape though. So I sound intensely passive aggressive. Am I Canadian? No, I'm in the Southwest United States, Arizona, chosen law. And yeah, I don't know. We're doing a live stream meant for, I don't know, who knows? We usually get 400 or 500 people. It's not that big of a channel. But yeah, I don't mind doing debates and stuff like that. We do have a little bit of a scholastic focus and stuff here too. I have a political science degree. I love philosophy, love talking about religion, morality, any of those topics too. And so if we can have a conversation around politics instead of the same old, I was listening into a channel the other day, actually chosen. And yeah, it's a chat room of 200 people, and the guy's talking about how women shouldn't vote and make decisions, and people are weighing in, adding their own 2 cents on that discussion. And so when I see that, some people would say, well, I need to hop up on that stage and correct them. And that would be correct, actually. As it turns out, that would be a good thing to do. And I've done that before. But the other conclusion is maybe, hey, how about a change of pace? How about having a conversation so in the first place, people don't form a dumb shit idea like women can't make decisions and shouldn't vote. That's also a possibility. Hey, God bless you. This man is on Drugas. Yeah. Hey, hola, Pablito. ¿Quién es? Que bueno. All these things. What up, Kelly Bennett? Appreciate you. Damn, someone with the brain speaking on the subject. Rare. Heck yeah, brother. Heck yeah, brother. Yeah, I did fancy myself quite the intellectual back in the day. I did well in school for a while. Wanted to do grad school, and so that's just a little glance at my own backstory, guys. Yeah, you guys don't know who you're even talking to right now. I might be the biggest freaking genius on YouTube, and you've never even met me. So what if bro does a little blah? Hey, hola Pablito again. Hola Pablito. Que hondas. Hola CIA. What's up? All right, Advanced Trump 2028. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. FDJT. Yeah, lame duck presidente. Can you read my chat? Let's see what's from user Addy. I don't know if you still here. But what's up? There was a message. I missed a message. Let me see here. I can pull it up. I think YouTube is banning me. I think YouTube is banning me, you said. I didn't see the chat up there, but hey, there you are. Can you read my chat? That was, to me, it looks like that was the first chat you sent, but I don't know. Sometimes the messages don't go through, but usually they do. You can usually refresh the chat if you need to see if your message went through. Or you can just try to rephrase it in a way that's appropriate for more people to read. Those are two possibilities, right? That's the possibilities that you have, what's possible, your possible word choice, and the possibility of rephrasing, or the possibility of saying the same thing and seeing if there's a different result. That is the problem, is we saw the corruption. Who's going to get rid of, he said he would do a long time ago. Of course, he's going to install his own sort of thing. No, that's not, and of course he's going to install his own sort of thing. I don't know if you left that out there for me, Kieran. But the problem is we saw the corruption. No, we didn't. What corruption are you talking about? Are we talking about some, if you have a government that's made up of 100,000 people, there's going to be corruption. There's going to be someone who thieves. There's going to be someone who steals something, right? There's going to be somebody who, and there's going to be people who maybe you would expect to do something bad because you've got those sort of judgments, who just never did. So what corruption, right? I'm not listening to a teeny bopper MAGA guy. I'm not listening to these teeny boppers who were too weak-willed or too dishonest, too greedy, too into themselves. They were too happy with just the way they looked when they were standing, on Trump's arm. These people, I'm not going to listen to them and let them tell me that my republic, my democracy is corrupt. I'm not going to let them steal from the world's poor. I'm not going to let them steal from my kids' future and tell me that there's corruption. No, there's not. The fact that you can't focus on the priority, you can't focus on a political priority. My values are not represented. Guess what I've been saying last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years? It's not some communist manifesto. I am an opposition point. Okay. So get this. I'm not in opposition personally. My own view. I don't have this communist opposition to Donald Trump. I'm not opposed to everything you do or you, the person. I'm not opposed to the little four-letter word MAGA. But if my values are not represented, guess what you're going to get out of me? My values are just not represented. And so when you're saying there's corruption, I'm going to bounce that back and just say, well, no, the politics are just bad. The politics are just bad. You don't have anything productive. And yeah, I'm a little bit upset about it because my values aren't represented. I know a lot of people whose values aren't represented. And a lot of this is about the fact that other people are getting hurt because of this. So that's where I land on that. If you want to get me fired up, you tell me there's corruption. You tell me that me, the person who knows something, at least knows what I know and knows a little bit about the stuff I don't know and wants to have that conversation. But you tell me that there's corruption and this is how I analyze Donald Trump. Hell no. Hell no. This is how I analyze the success of this president. Nope. Not even a little bit, homie. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. SPLC is going to get exposed. For what? For what? We'll see what the court says. But I think the court filings and the actual court case is going to show who did what with what. And here's the other thing is you want to say the SPLC is getting exposed. And hopefully people have some clarity on this point now, right? That the SPLC does a lot of things. It's not the SPLC like we hear, the SPLC on X and on True Social. It's some sort of weird, Fyodor Dostoevsky conspiracy. It's the SPLC, right? They've worked with everyone, basically. Everyone knows them. And so saying that they had this program and $3 million of payments went out to people that Kash Patel says he didn't like, we'll see what happens about that in court. And this is still only one small fragment of what the SPLC is. So this is more bullshit rhetoric. At the end of the day, this is more bullshit talking points. It's more putting lipstick on a pig is one of the phrases that people have said. But really, it's another way to drill in that Donald Trump gets away with his constituents with dehumanizing people. Donald Trump gets away with taking away personhood. Donald Trump gets away with telling you don't have to think critically a little bit sometimes. Donald Trump gets away with all of this stuff. Donald Trump's allowed to be incompetent. He's allowed to be all these things because he says all the comfortable things you want. So the SPLC is going to get exposed. The SPLC is really, bro? Really, the SPLC is already exposed. Go to the website. The SPLC is a website, bro. What is the SPLC? It's a website. They do a lot more than that too. But I ain't buying anything. I ain't buying anything yet, right? And meanwhile, the guy who was up speaking at the White House, he's got 12 staffers. He's got over 10 staffers telling reporters that this guy's getting wasted. He doesn't understand the job. He's getting drunk at work. And this is the highest law enforcement official office in the land, right? This is the highest law enforcement office in the land. And you have 10 people who are telling others that you get drunk at work and you don't understand your job. Please. Yeah. Bullshit. Bullshit. Right? If that bullshit detector is not going off, then I don't know. You know, there's got to be a different way to learn about it. There's got to be a different fact that's relevant. There's got to be a different way to be sort of morally repulsed or morally critical or morally honest about what's actually going on, what happened, when, where, why. And so if you paid $3 million over the course because you pay for information because that's part of your organization, and you've done this over the last 12 years or whatever it is, you know, the last 10, 12 years, 10 and a half years, whatever it's been, 10 and a half, 10.3, 10.7 years, et cetera, whatever, like whatever, then okay, cool. As he goes to a prayer meeting and quotes a pretend Bible verse from a movie. Yeah, prototypical Donald Trump, moral signaling too. That one's actually a big deal, right? The fact that Donald Trump, the one I still remember is in the middle of blowing stuff up, killing people, these murder campaigns, and he's got tens of thousands of civil rights violations in ICE. Him and Melania are handing out candy at the White House. So he's having families and more widow kiddies out. This is in the heat of the middle of the Epstein documents. You've got widow kids over to the White House. You've got widow kids in cages all across the country at the Gator Gitmo detention facility for widow brown kids you set up, Donald Trump. Please give me a break. Frantic, manic, and wired sniff. Cool. Thank you. Shout. Come on, Aline. Hate mail to me says, this is so lame. You suck. No offense. Have a blessed night. Cool. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, this is a politics, philosophy, religion channel. So shout out to you guys. You guys make the channel what it is. So to the 2 or 3, 4 folks that are here, 10, 11, whatever it actually is, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys chatting. And appreciate you guys if you're having fun listening to me. I appreciate that too. But you don't have to, It is what it is, brother. It is what it is, dude. All right, what about this demonic video Trump posted? I don't know, Felicia. I didn't see a demonic video. I remember Donald Trump's racist video. I remember the image he posted, but I haven't seen, if there's a new one, I haven't seen it. There's more symbology or other nonsense, more tokenization of, the tokenized sort of views of the Christian national right who want to be absorbed by MAGA or something. Vance gropes Charlie Kirk's wife like Trump gropes innocent Eshez. Cool. I scroll down just a little bit. I'm going to skip to the bottom of comments. Thanks, guys. Sorry if I missed your comment. Again, you guys can tag me. It's not intentional. We do have if you guys are thinking about subscribing or hitting the bell, if Ducks Y is maybe one of your top 10 subscriptions on YouTube, or you like joining for live streams, one of the reasons to do that is we are a high chat engagement channel. It's usually within a minute after we start the live stream, we've got messages and we have conversations all night. Even when it dwindles down, there's usually 4 or 5 people left, and a couple of them are chatting. We have great conversations. So consider a subscription. Consider hitting the bell icon for either some or all streams. I also post shorts. And again, if you guys want me to read a comment and I miss it accidentally, you can just tag me at DucksY. I will get right to it, and it's not a shame thing. It's not nerd stuff. It's just a way to have the conversation, right? There's no bias for anything anyone says, and yeah, it's cool, right? I ain't no Messiah or Jesus about reading these things or commenting on them, but reckon it's one of the things I'd like to be a little better at too. Even put my my sexy political science glasses on, as it were. Maybe spin up a little, James Carville voice. Read what the fine folks have to say. All right. Let's have a little bit of fun. Antichrist lore. Yeah, the Nietzschean Christianity, right? It's some like hybrid between Soren Kierkegaard, perhaps, and Friedrich Nietzsche, where you have to have this big, strong alpha male who's not only an alpha male, but he's so alpha that he dominates alpha males, right? He's the Vesuvius, right? He's the volcano that can destroy all of Rome. And then it's also the case that Donald Trump is still ready to go pray with the Christian men, right? Because he's allowed to tell that lie. He's allowed to tell the little lies that he wants to, you know. It's total nonsense. It's total nonsense, you know. And this is part of the reason there's so much polarity is because there's people that just won't let him get away with it, you know. And there's other people who only want those little lies. They only want those little lies. Dumb way to make a channel and think it's going to last. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the channel is going to last or whatever. Yeah, I try to make good content for subscribers. I try to make content that not just a US audience would like. And that's what I'm going for so far. Yeah, I've been on YouTube for about, if you guys are curious about more duck lore, I've been on YouTube for about 2 years. I like spending anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour to 2 hours with some of my friends on open panels, sometimes debating similar topics, sometimes more religion focused, sometimes more culture focused, or just kind of banter. Last night I was doing like sort of like serious but also fun arguments about flat earth. 5-6 friends, some of them were flat earth, some of them were not. And so, yeah, the channel here, I think those conversations are fun for a lot of different people. And it's also the vertical format here is fun for a lot of people. So that's the duck lore. That's what we're doing here. So I don't know if Ducks Y is going to last, but I've been doing content for about 2 years. And yeah, not the best at it. I'm not the worst at it either. But as we kind of keep going forward, seem to be getting the same numbers on shorts. That means, you know, if 20 people like a short or 15 people like it, that means they watched, 30 seconds of it. So, can't hope for too much more than that, brother. Can you read Cat in the Hat instead? Maybe a little Dr. Seuss. What do you feel you are a more valuable resource of information on this topic? Why do you feel? I don't crowfist. I don't. We've got Farsi speakers. Shout out to Farsi speakers in the chat. This is the creepy AI video. He posted an AI video of him speaking Farsi in a creepy voice with like blood on his forehead. He looked like the Antichrist lore. He pulled it down almost immediately, apparently. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It sounds like, whatever Facebook content. Sounds like Facebook content. No offense to Facebook users. I have a Facebook. I just don't use it for social media. Okay, cool. Yeah, shout out to the core users who found their way onto YouTube. Shout out people from Reddit who found their way onto YouTube. I got a little neck beard here. It's not that big. But yeah, shout out to you guys. People that are really good using LLMs and stuff, shout out to you. Obama promised to close Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. All right, let's check the poll. I'm going to give the quick poll update. So is Donald Trump a lameo nerd troll duck? 51% say yes, 46% say no, and 4% gave the correct answer. So only 4% of you know how to answer, is Donald Trump a lameo nerd troll duck? 4% of you got the right answer. It's A, he's Donnie, get the mastacholi. Hey, he's Donnie, get the mastacholi. Frankie used the Parmesan Reggiano. Frankie don't use no cheddar. That's the right way to respond to that, right? No politics. Yeah, but about 50-50, right? And it turns out that it may be the case that MAGA Republicans are in the more severe minority. Yeah, oh my God. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's very repulsive. Democrats are not where near left is enough. Everything will be okay, my son. To be fair, I don't care about any of this, and I ate food today as well. We are equals. Cool. Yeah, Crowfist is now the host of the show, so shout out Crowfist. Please remember that God gave you your passion for a reason. Go for gold, brother. Honestly, fight for your truths, ultra to leave you be. Yeah. Shout out to that comment. Yeah, if you believe that you're created by God, you're not a tabula rasa, blank slate, or you don't have universal like brainwave symmetry, psychosomatic, psychoanalytic, Lacanian, lack, empty, sort of Freudian, Jungian, praxis, pragmatic, type mindsets about whatever it is that you are supposed to have a mindset about. Cool. Yeah. If you find your truth in the Quran, Surah, the Bible, the New Testament, the Torah, you find it in old Buddhist texts, you find it in Hindu texts, right? You find it doing yoga, you find it when you're praying, you find it when you're praying once every 4 years, you find it when you're reading academic or scholastic literature, you find it when you're doing cultural commentary, you find it when you're playing sports, competing. Cool, whatever it is, right? And so this is one of the reasons I believe in a secular society. There's so many ways to do it. Who can say the one right answer comes from government? Who knows? You say it comes from God. I say, well, it doesn't come from government, that's for sure. So we should still agree on that point. And in the US, we now have a Christian ban on abortion in Texas. We also have a Christian mandate that the 10 commandments have to be in school in Texas. So this is not rolling backwards. Is it all connected? Yeah, it is connected, right? This is the psychology or the belief set that you can regulate, you can write policy, you can fund, you can build budgets and tax people based on religion. This is what Texas is saying right now. Donald Trump obviously is too spineless. He's too involved with himself to say anything. And when we look at the sum total of choices that the White House has made thus far, when we look at all the people that have dropped out, when we look at all of the wasted money on military stuff and the fact that Trump has squandered it, that he's not using any of the United States' wealth or military might to produce a fair conversation and a peace-oriented cooperative world, it is not surprising that Donald Trump doesn't have time for Texas. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't even have the capability to do that. Donald Trump can't even address religious bigotry. He can't even address religious-oriented murder in Texas. That's what an abortion ban is. It's murdering women. So Donald Trump is too inept to manage the war in Iran. He's also too inept to keep his coworkers around. Donald Trump is also too inept to manage small-scale municipal political issues in the United States. The guy is an absolute joke, and some of you guys here voted for him. Bam, dude. That's crazy, bro. Hey, that ain't me. Yeah, alhamdulillah, praise be to God, dude. Praise be to God, man. I'm telling you, I'm a Buddhist atheist, but praise be to God, man. I might go to a Dawa channel and convert just so I can, search God for the reason why some of you guys voted for MAGA and Donald Trump. That's the truth, dude. I'm going to go be Seventh-day Adventist, right? They're going to tell me that it's good that you're vegan, but you should become vegan again because, whoo, boy, this smells bad, dude. This smells bad. Yeah, vegetarian, vegan. No, dude. You got to get all the way clean to answer this. How did they vote for MAGA? How did they vote for Donald Trump, dude? I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. Whew. Holy Moses, dude. Abortion ban is murdering women? How? Well, because if you need an abortion for health reasons and you can't get one, if all of your doctors are afraid of being put in jail or having all their licenses taken away, they have no more ability to buy medical insurance. They have no ability to speak to a medical board anymore. And so the data, we've seen an increase in like a non-zero number, right? It's been hundreds of women in Texas have died since the abortion ban, right? This isn't just what normally happens in pregnancies in the developed world, right? In the United States, in a very rich country, you don't just see women dying in pregnancy, right? Usually there's some, congenital, genetic, genomic sort of like really freaky stuff, pre-existing conditions, very sad still. But there's a treatment route. Your doctor could tell you about this and say, hey, well, here's your options, right? If you want to have the child, but whatever, here's the medical treatment plan and stuff for all this stuff. And if you don't want to take on that risk or it doesn't feel right, you have to make that decision, then yeah, you can get an abortion. Texas has said none of this, right? Texas has said none of this. And so women are dying in Texas because of Christianity. Bullshit. How is it bullshit? How is it bullshit? A little dose of reality isn't bullshit. That's a dose of reality. That's what the world is, dude. You can't just say bullshit and then suddenly things that are not, right? That's not how that works. I hate to break it to you, right? And so like the thing that I have a problem with, bullshit it is. Go look at the data, dude. Just go Google Texas women deaths abortion ban, right? You can do a Google search, right? If you can type that sentence you just typed, you can also do a Google search. You can also do a Google search. You can look it up on Google Scholar, right? You can look it on Google Scholar. You can just do regular Google. You could go ask ChatGPT, right? You can ask any of these sources, right? Because the reality is, it's just amazing. Suddenly, Donald Trump is beyond the laws of causality, right? He's beyond the laws of causality, measurement, outcomes. He's beyond accountability. Hey, check the video, check this live stream description again. Check the thumbnail. What does it say? It says Donald Trump dodges accountability. What does it mean? It means exactly what the fuck it says. It means Donald Trump is once again dodging accountability. He's not a good enough president to deal with the fact that Texas is killing women. He's not a good enough president to deal with the fact that there is a reversal of secularism in Texas. That's not a political question, right? That's not a political question. How many babies are dead via abortion? That's not the political question, right? If you're saying, well, we can kill women so your opinion, because you're not responding to my point, is saying, Eric, that, well, we can kill babies. We can kill women in order to not kill babies. So you are making a political decision on the trolley problem, right? And so your morality and a religious informed morality is not part of policy consideration. That's not what's happening in Texas. In Texas, morality from a religious position is part of the policy consideration. It is 100% concomitant with the policy consideration. And so you don't get to dodge data when it's convenient, right? This is the Charlie Kirk MAGA side of things, right? I hate to break it to you, buddy. I don't know if it's uncomfortable, but that ain't how that conversation goes. Same like the guy was telling me God can give me my passion, no offense to you guys, but same like the guy's telling me, well, the way we talk about Donald Trump's success is corruption, right? Just choose this term corruption that we use all the time. Come on over to, my hot church, right? Come on over to the evangelical MAGA Donald Trump side and say, let's deal with Somali corruption, right? Let's go deal with Somali Muslim corruption. Right? You don't get to say that, well, I'm looking at dead babies and that's how I'm doing this. This argument's been made, right? This shock jockey style of politics has been made for hundreds of years in the United States, hundreds of years in Europe. Look at these people, despite almost the complete collapse of Islamic extremism in Europe, right? Severe drop from the 2010s when the United States was invading and starving Iraq and Afghanistan, right? And you have a Syrian civil war. And so surprisingly, where do extremists in Europe often come from? Not that surprising. They come from Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And then so you see this, and what's still going on, right? So you have a description of the phenomenon of extremism in Europe. And if you're not drawing this connection, right, there's a cause here. And then you still have the same talking points afterwards. It's still, oh, well, immigrants bad, right? We're so scared of the shimmigrants now, right? We want to make everyone else's life work, so we get the comfortable, fluffy makeup talking point, the high heels, right? Put on the fuck me heels, Don. Put on the fuck me heels, Melania. Hey, Charlie, take out the butt plug and put on the fuck me heels. This is your politics? Hell no, that's not my United States, brother. You guys aren't going to tell me that, look, I've done no research and I'm just racking my brain to try and search to say something new to say. Are you saying the same thing? You're just searching for something. Say something useful. Say something that can actually drive the conversation forward then. Canadians shouldn't talk American politics. Stick to maple syrup. Hey, Jimmy Dean, shout out to you. Are you Canadian? Yeah, if you guys want to talk Canadian politics, you've got Justin Trudeau or something like this. We've got a red-blooded American who has done zero research on American politics, most likely. Or if you're from not the US, yeah, I do some US politics on this channel as well. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, shout out to you guys. Really nice, right? Really nice stuff. Really good, right? Really productive conversation. Let's do a quick reset. I'm an anti-revolutionary revolutionary. You want to ask me if I'm a leftist? I don't know what that means. What is MAGA actually? Can you guys tell me just what MAGA is? Can you guys define an illegal? What's an illegal? What is a MAGA? What is a Donnie? What is a Pete Hegseth? What is a Kash Patel? What is the SPLC? What is the SPLC? What is the SPLC? What is a MAGA? These aren't things that don't have descriptions. Just because you guys don't want to answer my questions right now and want to make stuff up. Hey, adios. Adios, JR, Junior. I'll see you, my Chicano, Latino, Latinx, my Arizona Mexicanos. Peace up. We'll see you guys later. Adios. Yeah. What is an ICE detention facility? What is a 19-year-old college student? What is a 4-year-old kid or 5-year-old, dude, chick, your son or daughter who has autism and you locked up his mom and dad? What is it to lose someone and not give them a lawyer? You guys can't answer any of these questions. Bunch of BS. Yeah, they never tell you about the pendulum. I don't know if that's like a joke. I don't know if you're joking, Eric, or if that's a real answer. But they never tell you what the pendulum is. Hey, I live in a fucking landmass. I'll tell you what. Do you know who wrote about this fucking landmass? Jared Diamond, right? Jared Diamond, big-time archaeologist, historian, sociologist. Jared Diamond wrote about land masses. That's where I live. Guess what? 9 billion or 8 billion other people on Earth, they also live on land masses. What is a pendulum? What is a pendulum? A pendulum is what Megyn Kelly talks about. What does Megyn Kelly talk about? Not having influence. Megyn Kelly talks about having an audience. Right? That's not reality. That's not the real world. Hey, I've got a little audience here too. I got 21 people. Can I talk about the pendulum now? Yeah, Duck's famous, guys. Hey. All right, come to my ego narcissistic side. Let me put on my big-time political speaker glasses. Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about the pendulum here. Like an elephant trunk, the pendulum going both ways. I'm a good Christian, man. And I say, well, I do reckon I recall Isaiah didn't mention no pendulum. Oh, praise be to him. Jesus, oh my pendulum. Yeah, I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to use made-up words to talk about, because this is the thing you're smuggling in. You're saying moderates and conservatives, like you're showing me this, showing all of this stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to like directly at you, but it seems like we're sort of softcore debating. And so moderates and conservatives, I've known a bunch, as it turns out, right? I've known a bunch. You don't get to slip that by me and say that there's a pendulum that's returning to the center. What do you mean, right? Are you asking me to do the math on that? Right? You're asking the best, the best political analysts on CNN, Fox to do the math on the pendulum again? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Stupid people doing stupid stuff is what MAGA is, and stupid people doing stupid stuff doesn't return anything to center. What's return to center? Go look at UN data, right? Go look at UN data. Go look at the data that central bankers look at. Nothing is returned to normal. Nothing's gotten better. It gets worse when you're inept, right? There's not a playbook or a strategy to like ramrod American government because they've been such crooks and liars in a swamp that makes things better. Too bad. That's how chess is played. The equivalent of answering the question is like saying, Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, right? Hikaru, playing the other second best chess player in the world, purposely makes suboptimal or bad moves, and somehow this helps him win the game. No, it doesn't, right? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. So I don't get it. Yeah. WPS is busy reading the State Department release about sex and gender. Hey, darling Outlook. Hopefully you can enjoy your time here. Shout out. You don't feel obligated to, whatever, but also cool. Republicans can't handle the truth. Vote blue, everyone. Yeah. Vote your conscience. Don't vote. Vote progressive Democrat. Vote for a Democratic Socialist. Who cares? Vote an actual conservative Republican, right? You know, those are all viable options. Trump is not cool. Good work. Trump is cool. I don't, with Venezuela, what? Use the legend, bro. Let's talk about your name. Oh. Yeah. All right, we got street beef starting. Cool. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Yeah, we got street beef starting in chat, guys. So, you know, you guys want to. They wanted to troll the trolls. They wanted to troll the trolls. Well, I'm here for it. If you guys want to troll the trolls back, hell yeah, brother. Yeah, it's because we got a lame duck president, right? Donald Trump is still trying to throw shots on his way down. That's not a fighter, right? That's an irresponsible person. Yeah, Donald Trump's having all of his people resign before he does. JD Vance is the next on the lame duck list, right? JD Vance was sent to do international diplomacy, teaching him the ropes of being a president. No. The first ropes of being a president is not sitting still and being such a pushover that you shut up when bad things are happening. Shut up. Jesus Christ, man. Shut up. You know, can you imagine being JD Vance and being told by Trump's strategists to shut up? Hey, shut up because Eric Trump and Donald Trump are making a bunch of money on blockchain. Hey, shut up because, you know, we actually don't have a problem with the genocide in Lebanon and the genocide happening in wherever it is. We don't have the problem with the genocide in Gaza and Palestine, right? We can go back out to Truth Social and talk about the Jews or something, but shut up, right? We're making money. We don't care about this stuff. Shut up. We don't care about Earth Day. We don't care about ocean health. We don't care about pollution. Shut up. We don't care what big oil does. You don't have to mention it. Shut up. We don't care that these guys are not retrofitting 30-year-old technology. Shut up. We don't care that this is their plan or strategy, that all they can talk about is, well, it's just so hard to invest in this new stuff that puts them right back at actual square like -1. Just shut up, right? Don't talk about it, JD. Everybody's making money. Shut up. We're going to go ship paychecks to the richest people in the United States. Shut up. We're going to go do deals with Howard Lutnick, and then we're going to put him in office. You know, the guy had cancer, so obviously he has to be a high-ranking U.S. government official. Shut up, JD Vance. Shut up. We don't care that there is a trans genocide going on around the world, right? Make it harsher. Make it harsher. Watch this guy do it, JD. Shut up. You know, shut up. You don't have to be concerned if you're the vice president about the lack of oversight in the Congress. Shut up. When there's a tie-breaking vote or a chance to drive the conversation to the correct balance, you don't have to participate because it doesn't affect us. Shut up. It doesn't matter that the new Fed guy, who knows, he wants to go invest after he's done with the White House in security technology. He wants to go do national defense tech or something. Never mind that this is nepotism and corruption. Shut up, JD Vance, right? You're from, you know, you're a good old boy from the Ozarks, so you know what it's like to be quiet while the woods and the streams move around you. Is that what this was? Is that what this was? You were just out fishing. No big deal, right? Hey, if it wasn't exploitative then, it's certainly not exploitative now. Boy, do I sure sound like a crazy JD. Homemade fishing lures. What a load of nonsense, you know? Hey, JD, shut up. We'll get you in at the VC firm. Shut up, JD. Just go pass your bar exam. Just shut up. This is not a presidential quality man. Shut up, JD. You don't have to stand up on a pulpit and say you want nothing more than to alleviate the pressure of possibly millions of deaths in Iran. Millions, thousands, and tens of thousands of deaths of U.S. troops. You don't have to say that. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be upset about my future and your kid's future being sold to the highest bidder in Donald Trump's pocket. Shut up, JD Vance. Do you say any of this stuff? No, you don't. Shut up, JD Vance. You don't have to worry about a MAGA Congress trying to pass budgets for Marco Rubio to go spend frivolously, making things worse in our own hemisphere. Just shut up. You don't have to worry about your president, your guy on your arm, ruining our relationships with our two closest allies, Mexico and Canada. Shut up. Man, this stuff is insane, dude. I'm telling you. 2029 is the year that the Republicans are going to see the parliament for the last time. Yeah, in a parliamentary system, there would be a no confidence vote, right? In a parliamentary system, we would have had a no confidence vote. We also would have had more rigorous discourse. You know, in parliamentary systems, you have more voices. A lot of them are very politically weak, but you do share the platform. You share the platform. You always have that chance at that next election. You have that chance to make deals with the people who maybe do have influence. You have the chance to be a difference maker, to split the difference. In the US, this works because we have different caucuses, right? You know, there are different interests in the United States. There's special interests, and there's interests at the level of representative politics, at the Republican level, at the level of the Republic, I guess, or something. Civil society onto political processes or something like this. And so if we were in a parliamentary system where you have a Labor Party, you've got a Green Party, you've got the hippie party, you've got the Elon Musk Tesla party, you've got the techno oligarch party, you've got the far right nationalists, you've got the conservatives bullion party, right? No one is cooler or less cool than the other. They all want to take your money, tax you. You know, they all want to make sure that grandma's got a good place to stay when she gets old. And that's about it. That's where they leave the conversation. They want to make sure that your car, your tank is full of oil. They want to make sure that your W-2 paycheck, your direct deposit paycheck, they want to make sure that the guy that signs the check, he's got a full tank of oil, right? That's what they want. They want energy. They want big old bombs off to the side that you never see. But in a parliamentary system, there's different ways to talk about all those issues. You can talk about it on a Monday. You can talk about it on a Sunday. Go to church, right? Yeah, be religious about justice. Be religious about your own state. Be religious about the outlays and the outputs that help make the world a better place for other people. At least you can talk about it, right? In a two-party system, we do have the same thing, but with MAGA republicanism, no, it's supposed to be a 5,000-pound elephant laying on the floor that no one talks about. 10,000-pound elephant laying on the floor no one talks about. And if you don't buy in, hey, you know what? We'll hire you and fire you. This is what happened to the Secretary of the Navy just today. Hey, we hired you to come work for MAGA republicanisms. You didn't want that. Well, now we can fire you, effective immediately. You know, you were appointed by the man before you. There's a 10,000-pound elephant. We'll hire you. Come work for MAGA Republicans, and now you're fired, right? You're not marching in a straight line, right? That's not a two-party system. It's not an effective one. And so if you think I want to play crybaby and say this is pure fascism, it's not even that, right? There's no expediency. There's no understandability. Donald Trump is this sort of madman. You know, he's not even that mad. He's just not good at his job, right? Sometimes it's just the case you're not good, bro. You're not that good, bro. At the end of the day, you know, this is how I used to play Halo on Xbox Live. You know, give me the sticks, dude. You know, and it was just the case that, look, at the end of the day, one of us is a better player than the other. Donald Trump is not that good at politics. Maybe he was good inventing his own social media platform. Was he good at that? I don't know. People seem to say that he was good at doing that. Hey, Donald Trump's really good at this. Don't matter if it makes sense. Don't matter if it makes sense long term. Don't matter what you're saying. Don't matter who gets hurt. No, not my country. I don't believe in that stuff. I do not believe in it. Republicans are more woke than the Dems. Hell yeah, brother. You know, this is that Hegelian circles, right? You know, I might be a dunce someday. I'm a dumb Democrat, a demon rat or something like this. I'm a dumb Democrat, a demon rat. I don't care, okay? I'm a progressive Democrat. I vote this way most years. But guess what? I shut up. I'm done. When I don't know something, I can be done. You know, I go online, I talk about stuff, but you will see me pulling my own statements back. You'll see me giving the issue time on both sides, right? If we have these issues to debate, who knows? I'll go correct myself next stream if I can't get it all the way up. But on the other side, with the Republicans now, Republicans in 2026, in reality, a little dose of reality, you have Hegel. You have these historical cycles. Everything is now reinvented, right? So the Southern Poverty Law Center wasn't a woke Antifa terroristic left-leaning conspiracy. Now it's fraud, right? This is the new story. Donald Trump tells you SPLC, you know, these terrorist deep state, a deep swamp conspiracy. Now it's what? Now it's fraud, right? Fraud is more popular, so now it's fraud. And you have to wonder the brain space of the type of person who can just adopt and accept this. This guy's okay. No, he's not okay to be in the highest office of the land. You know, this is just the beginning. Todd Lyons from ICE has to resign. Who was Todd Lyons before? boy, this guy was a real cowboy, a real hero of law enforcement. You know, the second in command to Tom Homan, you know, best buddies with Kristi Noem. Todd Lyons, where's he now? He's resigning, right? What's the story with ICE now? Who knows? We'll see for the next one. The story now is, well, Minnesota's got to be this terrorist state. Yeah, Minnesota is this far left safe haven. No, it's not. It's Minnesota, right? It's Minnesota. It's Minneapolis. Yeah, Minneapolis is the worst part of Minnesota. No, it's not. It's Minneapolis. You know, this is an unfair administration. No, it's not. ICE has apologized to the little teeny kids that they locked in cages and lost, that they didn't give them their lawyers. It's not bad. They apologized. Did ICE deport people that they shouldn't have deported? Hey, no, they didn't. They apologized in all those cases too. Made up stories. That's not responsibility. There's no civil society. There's no accountability there. There's no two-party system, even a diverse two-party system that can respond to this. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And so we're supposed to somehow wrap up the stuff that didn't make sense when it just didn't make sense and wasn't considerable in the first place. That's a bunch of bullshit. Hey, I'm not going to give basic calculus, basic algebra, basic geometry education to people that showed no interest in learning. You want me to talk about your politics in this way, but you do not represent anyone else's values. You never cared about the earth. You never cared about the ground beneath your feet, about the air above your head. You never cared about the price of gas. You cared about making money on blockchain. You cared about making money on cryptocurrencies. You cared that the business channels are saying how good everything is going for you and yours, right? For you and yours, and you're going to be the first to know when you get out. You're going to be the first to know when you're about to launch a plane that's going to kill another person, right? You're a murderer. That's what you are. So I'm not giving you algebra, geometry. I'm not going to give you English lessons, current events, any of that stuff. Bunch of bullshit, right? I ain't a part of a revolution. I'm just saying if it wasn't considerable, I didn't consider it. It was inconsiderate. It was unconsiderable. I didn't consider it. Hey, I'm not going to go back in time and say I get to make up and tell the whole new stories all over again. That's a bunch of bullshit, dude. I ain't doing any of it. Game chair warrior. Yep. Hey, David, good to see you. Yeah. I mean, I think if you want to stand up, Eric, if you want to stand up and say that civil society is partially these nonprofit organizations, it's also these issues like environmentalism versus sustainability versus veganism versus animal rights or natural conservation. All of these things, right? That's one thing, but to say that we're going to go drop phony charges on this organization that we overly politicized, to me that's a direct sign of executive overreach, right? And so why wouldn't you say that? Well, if the FBI can just bring charges and their prosecutors are just going to accept the charges, right? Let's see what the courts say, but let's also see if that process was judicious. Is there jurisprudence in there? Saying that this is now part of jurisprudence, where's the nature of the law in that, right? Eric, these are basic vocabulary words too. Jurisprudence, what is the nature of the law? Well, if SPLC is fraudulent and so is Greenpeace, WWF, World Wildlife Federation, and all of these, there's all this fraud going on, but it seemed like the administrative burden was right where it should be. It would take like a forensic accounting effort to maybe see what the fraud was. Maybe it's blatant or something like this. But yeah, if there's none of this stuff that's actually happening and you're just saying, well, over the last 10 years, they bought information and I didn't like that, right? That's overly politicizing what is also a constitutionally protected right? SPLC has the ability to run press how they want, right? SPLC has the ability to go be a journalist how they want. SPLC has the ability to publish information how they want, right? If they're not committing and this is partially why they're not saying that it's illegal, they're saying it's wire fraud, right? There's a wire fraud that was occurred or something like this. So you didn't like the way they reported it or something like this. Okay, cool. And so is this Donald Trump actually finding fraud in the system? Did they pay taxes on it? Did they financially benefit from this? and so this is the weird thing, because if you are protected and there's not really a clear cut case where the law was broken, and you also have this defense, it's like, well, should this even be making its way up to the public? Already people, the lunatics on the loons, the clowns, right? These people that cannot self-manage on Fox News, they cannot bring external reality, and they get a new story in, and they're saying like, well, I'm just like a tree like this, right? I've got no personhood. I've got no ability to decide this stuff. I can't really think about it. I can just throw stones when I want, right? I'm not a person in the type of way that a person is morally accountable. I'm not a person in the type of person that's accountable to justice, even though that's my job. That is basically 100% what my job is. It's a justice entertaining role, right? You're a justice entertainer. It's not just us, it's justice, right? So get out of here with that. I don't buy that argument either. Cool. Yeah, so you're telling Greenpeace that they have to. I don't know what you're telling me, right? I don't know what your argument is, actually. I actually don't know what your argument is. Hey, thanks, Marty. Appreciate the compliment. This is a politics, philosophy, all kinds of stuff channel. Chatting and stuff like that too. I don't know if that was to me that I'm cute, but cool. I don't mind. He's one of those white knights. He's at home because he's low IQ. Just a segue for carbon tax and social credit score. Sick, dude. Sick. These conversations are starting to sound like the low tier, Orthodox Christian Dawa, far right, far left politics, where we just say, well, let me just throw this stuff all around and around and around and around. And if you buy 1% of it, then that means my point was right? There's the conversation we're having, bro. No creativity, right? In a creative world, I would be leading these conversations back about what I want my family to know about the environment, not indoctrinating them, but just what type of questions or curiosity or sources of information we can look at. What's an interesting way to think about some of these questions that seems like it comports or is reified in reality? These are actual world or essential sort of qualities about the thing, the space, right? You can't get rid of it. It's essential in the sense that you can't get rid of it. You can't talk about it without it. And so you can't talk about the SPLC without talking about the legal protections they have in the United States as part of civil society. You cannot talk about Greenpeace or the WWF without talking about the protections they have in this society. You also can't talk about them without that level of transparency. What do you actually accomplish? The fact that they don't accomplish what you want them to accomplish does not constitute fraud. It does not. It just does not. It also does not constitute that the organization itself is fraudulent. Yeah. Donald Trump, prosecute. Donald Trump launches drones and missile strikes. This is how he goes about indicting fraud. Donald Trump does not have a half button. Donald Trump is a murderer. Donald Trump is a maniac at the wheel of the United States. He has not offered anything considerable. Hey, Jared Warren, shout out to you. All right, guys. Jared, what do you want me to talk about, dude? You got a good topic for me, bro? Yeah, shout out. Yeah. If somebody, I don't smoke, I'm really cool about the 422 stuff, but if somebody wants to buy me a pack of shigawatts, then, let me know, dude. Buy some gems and heck yeah, brother. Now we're talking, dude. Wow. Yeah. But back when I was younger, my uncle was a police officer in Chicago, Illinois, big city cop, beat cop, a guy walking around, and, he told me, he said, if you see a bag of something, he said, don't get so excited. He said, you better look at it. When your eyes get real big and you're wondering what you can do about it, he said, well, that's just a shigaweed, right? You don't got to touch that, right? And so I listened to my uncle, and to this day, I've, very rarely imbibed into, the substances that the more delicate side of humanity ain't imbibing. Crow's just arguing with everyone. Yeah, hardcore America takeover the chat room, dog. He capping. Yeah. Hardcore CIA takeover the chat room. Sick, dude. Blip. Hey, Robin Webster. Good to see you. Good to see you. Obama shipped off more illegal immigrants than Trump ever did. Yeah, this is from Professional Commentator. So, yeah, and so I would say that Obama has also supported campaigns of people like AOC who ran on the platform of abolishing ICE. So, in my opinion, I think a half-hearted defense of Obama's stance and actions on immigration is that he was administering the laws at that time, as well as the structure and system that was set up. And so if you happen to just see this periodic or cyclical review, right, you're really going to piss off Bernie Sanders and AOC and maybe someone like Zohran Mamdani, as much as this impacts them and their stuff. But Obama was administering the laws at that time. And so a sort of, from the outside view, and a very important, from the outside view, Obama was a nationalist in some of these regards, in that he had a very high vested interest in national security. He had a very high vested interest in the U.S. not gaining a reputation where it was not a land of laws and things like this. And in many regards, people who don't actually have a justifiable reason or feeling or belief, just a psychological viewpoint that under Biden, we became less lawful. Obama was kind of that guy, right? He was that type of president who would administer the laws that we had on the books. And a good example where Biden is also the same way is Kamala Harris, someone who did run a DA office. And so I don't think it's worth celebrating. I don't think it's worth celebrating in a new office that these are effective law enforcement sort of administering types of roles from the Democrats, from the very traditional sort of old guard, new guard, democracy oriented, republic cosmopolitan sort of oriented Democrats. However, keeping in mind that these are also nationalist type positions, and that's also just what you get out of the two-party system. So you kind of have to dig deeper and also be part of the change, right? That's why we do support historically the Ron Pauls of the world. We also support the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders, because they offer that perspective that this isn't just politics. This is about society too, right? And this isn't just politics. It's about you and me and your family. And it's not that hard to just stand up and say and do the right thing, right? This old guard, this is what MAGA lost, right? When you are switching between Shamali fraudsters and, these loser points, when you're stuffing the money in your own pocket, when you're stuffing the clout, the reputation, the lifestyle change, you're stuffing all this stuff in your own pocket. Really difficult to talk about honesty, talk about justice, really difficult to ask for accountability from Breitbart, from Fox News, from people like Steve Bannon, people like Joe Rogan, from the Manosphere, from the Red Pill, and from these sort of off Main Street, right? The 233rd Avenue political commentators who want to throw cops in jail and then throw them a party for arresting PDFs or something like this, right? Absolutely unhinged lunatics, all of them. Not a single coherent belief. These guys are like, to me, it reminds me of like a third world prostitution ring. And again, that's something which itself could be worth exploring. But it is like this third world prostitution ring in the level of incoherence that's just produced by everyone at some level. And then the fact that it seems so easy to do something about it because you can just have common sense. And regarding that common sense, you don't have the incoherence then. To me, that's a big, striking, strong point. Big, striking, strong point. Yeah. And so who knows? If MAGA is more close to a third world prostitution ring than a Democratic Party, that's a problem from their perspective. And it's also an opportunity to remain compassionate, right? It's an opportunity to say, well, look, everybody's deserving of moral respect. And the thing that, the thing about these MAGA folks that makes them more like a third world prostitution ring, isn't the criminality behind it, but it is the incoherence, right? And so I can be compassionate about this idea of giving people moral respect and understanding the place I live, the landmass of the United States. Let me start with that. How about that one? All right, 8:44. It's still Earth Day where I am. Happy Earth Day, everybody. I just want to remind everyone, nature is a beautiful place. On my little run today, I got to see some doves. I got to see a couple quails. Even in the dry months here in Arizona, just the way that the trees, the saguaro cacti shake just a little bit. What a unique and amazing, almost magical experience. It's an experience that is both awesome and should inspire wonder in all of us. And so I want to wish you guys a happy Earth Day. I wish I could just kind of transport you, give you that kind of brief second or two view of the beautiful stuff I saw today. And yeah, truthfully, the Earth is an awesome place. Even in the times where it's incoherent, there's so much beautiful, magical, majestic things going on. There's more to learn from a natural scientific standpoint. There's more to learn from a spiritual, irrational, sort of deep thinking, considerate standpoint. And there's more to learn from a reasonable, logical, and also pro-social standpoint. And so that's my litmus test today for the MAGA Republican Party, for the MAGA Republicans that are part of the Congress, part of the House of Representatives or Senate, for judges that wanted to say yes to MAGA Republicanism, even in places like Texas, where you say, well, Texas Republicans are Texas Republicans, but let's give this MAGA thing a try because they're going to push our religious agenda further. Right? Even in these cases, when we're just talking, just the two of us, just men, just boys, whatever it is, it's just these things, and all this other stuff. I still want to give a consideration that, there's opportunities for pro-social cooperation and common sense. There's orders of operations to get back to the landmass, back to the grasslands, right? Back to the mountain pass, back to the things that don't require a mountain pass. Right, just back to the cities, the urbanization, back to the energy use, back to our efficient use of resources as well as those which are not, right? Back to a commitment to ensuring that working class families in the United States have quality jobs and can afford their houses and groceries. They can afford school for their kids. That the municipals here, right? The states and the municipals can afford school for the kids. They can afford oil and gas and electricity. They can invest in their community at the right times in order to make our economy more circular, more efficient, and in order to give people the chance to be creative, the chance to be free. But it takes a lot of work to get back to the landmass, to get back to a cosmopolitan identity that the causes and the things we discover and invent in the United States, the reasons for our success for all people and the reasons for justice are also relevant to the reasons of justice for other people. And there has to be a compelling reason, a believable reason why these do things like reduce the overall reliance on energy in our civilization, reduce the overall reliance on military expenditure in our civilization. These are things that we should aspire to get rid of. I don't think it's boring. I think it's fun. I think it's foundational. And I think you guys are a big part of that conversation, even when we disagree deeply. I don't think things like having a more fine-grained understanding of the law or fine-grained understanding about how the two-party system works or how the two-party system can push the United States out to other areas of the world and also pull us back in, get us back focusing on the most important domestic policy issues. Our priorities at home can make the world a better place because we are so large. Donald Trump seems to think that he can get a payday while this is happening. He seems to think that he can get away with war crimes while this is happening. I'll repeat the same stuff to the same 8 people, but that seems like a waste, guys. A foundation. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, we've got another 2.5 years of President Trump's presidency. So the office of the White House has these capabilities. There was a story released the other day that some of Trump's military advisors have been kicking him out of meetings or just not inviting him to meetings regarding military strategy and stuff like this. And so, of course, MAGA Republicans will ignore this story, or they'll say, well, this is Trump's success, right? You can just handle these as military issues. But no, it's not. You're the commander in chief, so you have to be in the room. So let's get that one out of the way, right? You should be in the room for the important conversations and know what the president has to do in those cases. And so, yeah, Donald Trump should resign the presidency. No one should consider J.D. Vance as having learned from this experience in a way that's meaningful. Donald Trump deployed a nuclear submarine. He said, hey, we're all spending too much on the military. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go spend more on the military. I'm also going to deploy our nuclear sub. I'm going to try to create bigger and more horrifying, less manageable weapons. Donald Trump is a lunatic, right? He's not operating in the national security interests of the United States. He's not operating in a humanitarian way. He's not a president of peace. He's a mean guy. He's just a mean guy. Donald Trump 2016. Jared, why don't you personally, you can go remember Donald Trump's first presidency. What did you get out of it? Nothing. What are you getting out of this one? A worse world, more problems, right? These aren't textbooks. These aren't ways to learn. These aren't experiences. Donald Trump is trusting real adults to go do the real adult things. Donald Trump is trusting that somehow, he'll be seen as a person who is committed to the American success story for 12 long years. And it turns out that's just not what the office of the presidency needs. You need responsibility. You need civic mindedness, civic leadership. You need a respect for civil society. You need a respect for proceduralism. You need a respect for expediency in the sense that some things can be expedient when you're leading the largest nation in the world. That does not involve a payday for you or your family. It does not involve ripping off people all around the world. And it certainly doesn't involve violence, not ever. And so if you are saying that, well, Donald Trump is this wise leader, he's the sage antichrist, the Ubermensch, he's the Make America Great Again president, and this just sounds so good to the people. Well, to that, I would simply reply that, well, when you're actually living in this space, you're living with a violent guy, right? You're living with a guy who, even with his wisdom and antichrist nature, was threatening violence prior to taking office. What kind of antichrist says, I'm going to go around and just threaten violence? Unfortunately, someone with a mental illness in the prison system can do just that, right? So you have one of the scenarios of a person experiencing severe injustice. Perhaps they themselves were part of a broken system, and perhaps they themselves also exerted injustice toward others. However, if this is Donald Trump's story and he can't manage it, then you also shouldn't be president, right? In the prison system, what happens? In the prison system, these people often get cycled and recycled through. They don't have an impact. They have an impact because someone advocates for them, right? Both for their, whatever they did to get in there, their victims and whatnot, respect to them, of course. But relative to justice, they have their own justice story, right? The two don't intersect as strongly as you may think. And so for Donald Trump, his justice story, where is it? Well, you threaten violence right away. Hey, I don't know what TDS is, but TDS is sad. Certainly grammatically, semantically, and the whatnot. Yeah, but welcome, though. Welcome to the party, yo. Come on, Eileen. Custard, General Gustard. I'm a General Gersten man. I ain't this kind of non-athirst top. I ain't an athirst. I'm a good Gersten man. Look at how tall my roof is. I'm a good Gersten man. Yeah, we're just going to let the comments run for a little while here. Hey, those look pretty good, right? I ain't a judge of things, but they appear to be right on topic. From my vantage, of course. Yeah, I've been talking for about an hour and a half now. I haven't said that much. Wow. Said a couple things, but not that much. Reckon? Oh, we got Travis C in here too. Hey, Travis C. Oh, wow. right, I know you guys can't in good conscience support me here, but I'm going to go ahead and spin this up just because here's my feeling about things. Whoops. Here's my feeling about things, of course. My feeling about things is if you guys support me, that allows me to extend the stream, and it also allows you guys to go give money to other YouTubers. So if you guys haven't clicked on the little dollar signs or gifting things, hey, shout out to you guys. If you guys are broke, I'm broke too. I ain't going to say too much words about it. But if you guys have never used the gift feature, you guys can spice up the stream a little bit, add a little purple gift that pops up. I can play with it. A lot of fun for a lot of people. You guys want to see me playing with some headphones or cat ears or stuff like that. You guys want to send me a $400 DJ booth. That's also really cool. I appreciate that. And yeah, creators get to keep a solid chunk of those gifts. And so it's very helpful. It's very helpful. But of course, I'm here for you guys. I'm here to build a global community who's deeply compassionate and cares about justice and cares about other people too. So shout out to you guys. My name's Duck. And yeah, support the grift I just set up. Of course, yeah, I don't have $500 till next week. Cool. Yeah. Cool. I understand. I've never had $500, so I used to. Now I don't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so while you guys are talking about Donald Trump and TDS and the whatnot, I'll just mention that, yeah, you guys can gift memberships. Those are awesome. Those help me call out some of the, largest contributors to the channel. That includes all you guys, right? So thank you guys again for being here. Gift memberships, super chats, those things all help small creators like me. Jewels, gems, things that YouTube doesn't flag in terms of, yeah. Thank you, GS Tattoo. These types of kind compliments and the whatnot also help. But again, yeah, who knows? Maybe someone here is neurodivergent. Maybe I am clearly, I clearly have autism or something like this as well. And cool, yeah. And so here comes, the super chats come in multiple different hues as well. And so if you guys want to send those, begging for money, typical. Hey, Lifter Dave, good to see you. Yeah. Stop talking about the goonin. Okay. Yeah. And of course, so membership drive, everybody. We've got 2 levels of memberships you guys can sign up for. Gift memberships are awesome. It means a lot when you guys vote with your support as well. So we've had 4 channel members sign up. So shout out to all our 4 channel members. And yeah, not a huge number, but I love the early signs of support. It helps me and it helps you guys too, right? It helps you guys because it makes me happy. Or something, I think, but it also helps other creators, So shout out to you guys. Like button is free. Subscribe button is also free, fellers. Cool. What else? Yeah. I've also mentioned this in the past. I have very serious depression and anxiety, so I'll be making members only depression dieting and fitness videos where I consider it and then don't do it, or I consider it and I do it in a small way and then I go to bed. So yeah, any way that you guys can support me or other small YouTube creators is huge, right? It goes a long way. Takes some time to pay this stuff out too, right? It takes a lot of time to kind of get the good stuff back out to the people, for the older folks in chat, those that know, right? So shout out to you guys, right? And the universe sometimes asks us to do hard things, right? And so I'm one of these people that jumps at the opportunity to have a little bit of social and civic responsibility. And so that's a great reason to consider a blue super chat, a $1 super chat, or a $2 teal super chat, or $10 yellow super chat, $20 orange super chat, $100 purple magenta super chat, guys. Shout out. Thank you, guys. So that's my duty for the day. If you guys haven't clicked on the gems, do it for other channels. Just see what's there. You guys will know what's there. The interactive ones, the ones that you can multiply, the fun ones. And hey, now you guys know you can spice up a stream with Google Jewels. There you guys go. Shout out. That is the correct answer, brother. Me too. Me too, brother. Come on, Aline. Do 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 do. All right. Yeah, I have a, I've got a, yeah, if you're doing, is it possible to get people Yeah, I've had a couple donations. So if you're Matt, if you're a content creator, I have a link on my page. Couple people have. Shout out Patrick. I'm still looking for Patrick, who sent me some money. I don't know who it is. Maybe they don't want to be identified in YouTube, but shout out to Patrick. And also, yeah, again, but yeah, people do remember the support, and yeah, some people do spend money. And yeah, it's very hard to get started making money on YouTube. It takes a long time. It's not often a lot of money. There's a lot of fees and costs, but it's still super worth it. Like I mentioned, you remember when people send you the support, and so do other creators, right? Other creators in other places. Yeah, and I recognize and appreciate all the prices here on my channel are in USD, and so it's just awesome to see support going out to other people. And yeah, if I get to facilitate a conversation around political science, around politics, philosophy, religion, those are great things, right? Those are good things for me. Again, compassion, Buddhism, wokeness in terms of spiritual being enlightened, right? Not being light, but being enlightened, right? Those types of things are awesome. Yeah, so good luck to everyone out there, Good luck to everyone out there. It's a great thing when you're asking someone to just send you money selflessly, like a lot of people on YouTube are. There's always a lot to learn. From my perspective in the US, right, it's about free market capitalism. It's about adding some value. It's about being consistent, building a close connection with your audience, and showing them who you are, right? Showing them who you really are, being authentic, right? Not acting in order to be authentic. These are all really important things. So like I mentioned, my name is Duck. Online, I go by Duck, right? My name is Nathan. The channel is DucksY. And yeah. So we have this opportunity to create a fair, open space for a lot of people to be successful here and think more compassionately, more critically about politics, right? Not too critically. But yeah, when it's time, they won't ever see us coming, We'll have that solid 101, 102 IQ society one day. Hey, just good enough, right? I ain't gonna lose my mind today. Ain't gonna lose my marbles. You heard? The confusion which comes down, Yeah. The confusion that comes down again. He always seems to come down on it now. All right. Come on, Eileen. And you're everything. Yeah, I woke up in a car. I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi on her knees. Bum, bum, I've never been so lost. I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys, 'cause I woke up in a car. Yeah, I woke up in a car. Yeah. Maybe I could live forever, if not ever. I had known you'll be waiting there forever. No, I am not alone. Cool. Heck yeah, brother. Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Matt. 80 IQs. Rock on, brother. Rock on. I don't got any common sense, so maybe you and I could start a Leviathan. We could be the Roman triumvirate, right? I got all the big brain stuff, but I ain't got a lot of common sense. Don't know what people are like or what they want. It's been true. It's been true, folks. It's been true. Yeah. Thank you. I also just want to thank the Manosphere once again for taking over the YouTube chat. That's always I'm really grateful for those types of things. So it's great to see Jared, just guessing Crowfist, Matthew, Robot Bobby. Shout out you guys for Lifter Dave. I want to shout out the Manosphere Red Pill for keeping this masculinity oriented. When I started my YouTube channel, building subscribers, building a regular audience 2 years ago, the first thing I thought to myself was, how can I get more dudes to talk to me on the internet? How can we drive the conversation forward? Grifting is asking for money on the internet. Yeah, grifting is asking for money on the internet. Some people grift for over $100,000 a year, and that's their goal. Some people grift so they can feed their family, pay their bills. Some people grift so it makes sense for them to do YouTube, and maybe they've got another source of income in the household or a part-time job. But yeah, it's different. It's just different for everybody. And yeah, it's hard. In the United States, it's probably very unlikely someone makes a full-time income by just starting YouTube. But yeah, that's also partially because the poverty line in the United States is like $25,000 a year, something like that. So it takes a lot to make $25,000 a year to grift $25,000 a year. But yeah, there's also places in the world where the per capita GDP is $1,000. And so if you can make $8 or $9 a week in gifts, you get a couple occasional super chats, you get a couple memberships in. To some people, that's worth it, right? You can have the direct donation link up, no Western Union, right? You get your PayPal, who knows, you upload your cryptocurrency address and people want to thank you that way. Great. Go and get that money, whatever. How do I support Donald Trump? I mean, I would love to support Donald Trump truthfully. Hey, Sean, of course, I love you, brother. All right, I love you, brother. I respect you in the office of the president, but your policies are unconsiderable. Yeah. So I hope that helped with the grift and the answer and the whatnot. Yeah, I woke up in a car. I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi on her knees. Dun, dun. I've never been so lost. I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. Yeah, 'cause I woke up in a car. I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi on her knees. I've never been so lost. Never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away the keys. Yeah, I woke up in a car. Does the president really have any say in America? I would believe so. I would believe a considerable amount of say. Yeah. And he set the policy guidelines, right? They write books about it. There's the Bush doctrine, the Obama doctrine, Biden doctrine. There's a Trump doctrine. They also repopularize things like ideology, like neoconservatism, liberalism, neoliberalism. Those are a couple ways to answer. You can say that their vice president cast the tying vote, so they're influential in policy, right? They can set policy objectives, and usually those are agreed upon, or there's negotiations on the level of partisanship. And the executive, the president, also controls foreign policy, right? No one else controls foreign policy. And so in reality, the president is very influential in the United States. Yeah, absolutely. A president cannot do things like just snap their fingers and reduce the price of oil, or reduce or increase the supply or demand of oil. Those are things that a president can't do. They can't magically heal damage to the environment. They can't magically fix an education system. They can't magic roads into place. But they do appoint leaders in the executive branch who are responsible for some of those things. So in the United States, our two-party republic democracy system depends heavily both on the voice of the people, but also they put a lot of faith and trust in the president, right? They're not supposed to be like the head of a snake. They just have a lot of responsibilities, and there's supposed to be accountability as well. So in my opinion, we shouldn't have war criminals as presidents. People like Ronald Reagan shouldn't be viewed as the norm in the United States, right? The norm in the United States. A big bully who can go out and do what they want when they want. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think Kamala could have I believe Kamala would have navigated the regional concerns with Israel being just a landmass in the Middle East, as well as the fact that, ideologically, economically, if you just want to say we both have a lot of energy and oil and access to those things, we've got more mature banking systems that have produced long-term indicators of stability, things like higher savings rates. These are all things that say, well, look, there should be a reason in the short term that we can create more equal sum opportunities. Donald Trump hasn't tried to create equal sum opportunities on the level of diplomacy, in my opinion. I think it would be very difficult to evidence that Donald Trump ever had a diplomatic platform or a lean or bend toward diplomacy. And Donald Trump's also been repugnant toward internationalism. And we have seen, I believe the role of the UN in mitigating conversations has pushed and driven the conversation back towards more conservative measures. And when you're talking about unifying sort of the competitive view and reeling in energy and military expense, Donald Trump, I don't believe, has had a handle on that situation. I also believe that if someone had explained that even to someone unqualified, no history of civic leadership, I won't get into my background, but, sketchy background to say the least, let's just say, your buddy used to go to the Italian Grossa and, gnocchi wasn't the only thing that I used to get, Frankie don't use the Reggiano anymore, Frankie don't eat no cheddar, but I think I could understand something like that and say, well, look, I'm not going to be the most hyper mature, hyper developed leader, but if I care, right, doesn't that get us something? And am I an idiot if I care? If I cared in the first place, am I an idiot? If I cared in the first place, am I an idiot? And if we're talking and I don't maybe have maturity, but I can speak to large systems, would I have been more qualified? Would like a random internet small YouTuber, a VTuber like me, would I have been qualified to do the job of the president? You guys can see me in all my Swahili, French, and Indonesian glory one day. And so when I'm not doing the stream overlay, you guys will see me and say, hey, this duck guy, maybe he could have been an American president, right? You would have never known. You would have never really had the best idea about this, but I come up with that kind of stuff just on the fly, right? I came up with that on the fly. Hey, you've been thinking about that. That's what I would have said to them. Hey, Frankie use Reggiano, Frankie use mozzarella, Frankie don't use no cheddar, right? You've been thinking about that. I've been thinking like this about you thinking about that, right? And so about that, you've been thinking about it, but I didn't think of it. The government don't have anything worth investigating. I work with the beings who mess with the government with unreversible tech because it's not real tech. The beings are interdimensional. Cool. Yeah, shout out to you, God. I don't know if that's God tech or alien tech, or what is evidenced in there. But yeah, shout out. I think the UAP stuff is interesting talking points. It's a great way to think about transparency in government and what those big things are like or might be. But yeah, shout out to you guys. It's awesome, right? It's very awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I woke up in a car and I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi on her knees. Dun, dun, I've never been so lost. I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. Yeah, I woke up in a car. All right. Cool. The UAPs are fake. The beings I work with purposefully make fake things for the government to waste their time studying. Cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty neat. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I woke up in a car. I traced away the fog so I could see Mississippi on her knees. Bum, bum. I've never been so lost. I've never felt so much at home. There's like 50 blocked comments saying that they don't believe your UAP story, though. Just giving you the heads up, bruh. Heads up, brother. Yeah, Rational Gloria Steinem. Smell my freaking science armpit hair. Freaking skunkos. These are the same beings who created the world's religions. No, it's primitive. Give it a chance. Okay, I'll give it a chance. My stream cut out. So the same beings who created world religions, these are the same ones who did C-19 6 months after Avengers Endgame as a joke on the Thanos snap. Hey, what's up, Matto? What the hell is wrong with this guy? Hey, Watson Hall, women's lib rocks, bro. Heck yeah, Gloria freaking Steinem, smell my stinky armpits and legalize marijuana. Legalize marijuana, frick you. Yeah. Let's get Frankie into the office. Frankie into the White House for Reggiano cheddar cheese man, right? Let's go hoagie rolls. Frickin' stunky, stop trolling, troll. Stop the frickin' troll. Frick yeah, dude. Frick yeah, dude. Frickin' A, dude. Yeah. Yeah, but aliens wouldn't be part of the aerospace industry, right? And there's physics out these days that proposes exotic physics that go beyond the current standard model, either because the standard model is incomplete or the standard model just doesn't fundamentally capture the nature of particles and particle interactions, right? The types of objects that the universe produces. Evidence of this is, the two evidences that this is possible is antimatter, right? Antimatter, which UAPs might use for spaceships and shit like that. But it's also just like a black hole, right? A black hole isn't a particle object, but a black hole is an object in the universe. You might also say that, the universe at time state 0 isn't an object, but that is an object in the universe, right? It's not a black hole either. It's not antimatter. It's not standard physics. It's not exotic physics. It's just that the universe, but that's an object in the universe still, right? We would say it is because it's totally homogenized, And so there's seems to be abductive reasons that we reject the standard model, but the aliens don't use space manifolds. The aliens don't use Einstein and Minkowski space. They don't see time as relative. The aliens don't use standard models of physics. The aliens maybe don't even use cosmology because they're doing experiments in engineering like us. So they don't believe Leonard Susskind. They don't believe the Harvard, the JPL, the brainiacs, the MIT geniuses, the Oxford mathematicians who got sucked into the black hole of physics. They don't believe them, right? Nobody believes these guys that there's something beyond it, right? A religious space that you just got to get there to go see eventually, right? That ain't, to me, that's not the office of the president, man. That's not Donald Trump. That's liberation theory. That's freaking intersectionality, dude. That's freaking intersectionality, and that's also freaking scholastic academia coming. It's raining down the money, dude. It's the freaking academia raining down all the money you've ever freaking stunko thought of. You troll, get out! Stop the troll. Go do more freaking. Go do social theory, freaking trunko. I was a political scientist, but they lied all the time. They said, we're going to get this stunko to lined up with the old Marine Corps political science professor. He's a good Gerstein man, good John Maynard Keynes liberal type feller. And I said, stop the troll, man. Bring me Karl Marx. You know what I freaking told him? I freaking told him I know who Che Guevara was. He was a medical doctor. Shut up, stunko. I freaking know this story already. You can't lie about UAPs or freaking political science stuff. I freaking know critical race theory, stunko, you troll. So I troll hunted them and I finished my degree. And then the CIA told me, you can go work in a freaking call center. Go work in a call center, stunko idiot. Freaking dummy. With magnitudes of impossible energy to harness sick, dude. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, this guy's looking at my stream overlay, dude. The beings need us for creativity purposes. They don't have a struggle. They have all around ideas to gain life into a struggle. Hey, what up, T-Dot? Shout out to you guys. I eat jewels, man. I eat processing fees. Just kidding, folks. Massive big time complaint to Google, dude. Hey, shout out to you. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, we are coming on 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for the support this stream. Thank you for the 31 likes. Thanks for all the chats driving the conversation forward. I don't have anything else. Happy Earth Day to you guys, right? I would be fired. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, so shout out to all you guys. Thanks for catching the stream. If you guys want to like or subscribe, cool. If I'm one of your top 10 subscriptions or you guys like being notified, like doing live stream chats, hit the bell notification. I usually go live every day. Not like all day, but I usually go live every day. And yeah, support your local used bookstore, support veganism, vote progressive, and vote for world peace, vote for reducing military expenditure, vote for transparency and honesty with oil and gas. Let's vote for some compassion and understanding in our own lifestyles and habits. Let's vote for justice, right? Let's vote for justice and the stories of justice. And let's vote for against injustice and vote for the stories of injustice as well, right? Let's be listeners, readers, storytellers, actors. Let's be honest, right? Let's be a force for peace, I guess. And yeah, let's even be compassionate as to support leaders that I disagree with, like President Donald Trump. Let's support people we disagree with, like Fox News, far-right internet, stunky corner coat closet commentators who don't care if you're a critical thinker, don't care if they tell you the truth, don't care if they never spoke a word out against Charlie Kirk and Turning Point as they lied and influenced millions of young lives. Let's not be petty and small. Let's be supportive even of people that lied. Let's be a force for critical thinking. And yeah, I personally, that stuff I love. When you guys listen to me, that means that comes right back to me. That can be my responsibility up here as a content creator. That's not bullshit, right? And so if I can, maybe read something interesting once or twice a week, give it to you guys. I love doing that. I love the responsibility of that. And I love that I get to consider even more so into the future how to build that global cosmopolitan community, how to build that plural mindset and still support the landmass of the United States, our partisan two-party system for all of its flaws. And yeah, living in reality, not letting any of it go, guys. So thank you guys so much. Let's do the final poll. I'm going to go ahead and end this so you guys can see the results of the poll on your screen. So 51% answered incorrectly that Donald Trump, yes, is a lame, lameo, nerd, troll, duck. 44% of you also answered incorrectly that is Donald Trump a lame, lameo, nerd, troll, duck, lame duck. And then only 5% of you guys answered the question correctly. He's Donnie, get the mostacholi, right? That was the correct answer. So we have a long way to go. This is evidence of decades of work that we have to do. And yeah, once again, thank you guys so much. We've got 2 minutes for this goal. I'm just going to go put on an overlay. I'll put some music on or something. If anybody wants to send gem gifts or go support your favorite content creator, I think that's something I'm allowed to do. I think that's something I'm allowed to do here. Yeah, right. Or I'll just see you guys tomorrow too, because, but yeah, let's put the masculine overlay on. Studio, whoops. You guys go. Cause I woke up in a car, I traced away the frog so I could see the Mississippi on the knees.
Bend like a willow, Godzilla. You are my best friend. Let's run through the field. Reach up and touch the sky. It's a really, really, really real. Bend like a willow. like a willow gazelle. Bend like a willow. Bend like a willow gazelle.
We were sparks on quiet streets, two hearts finding where to meet. But life pulled us apart, left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same? Or have we both moved on to different names? Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. When the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. I've been up since 3, scrolling back where we used to be. Have truths in this late night chat, both of us knowing what a life at. Funny how we talk like we're fine, but your name still lives in my mind. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. When the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. If only for a moment. If only for a moment. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. When the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. Falling down the highway, doing 95 alone. Trying to reach you, call you, but you won't come to the phone. Remember me, said you'd be my heart's home. Guess you were biding your time to call. Oh, I really should've known. We were dead in line till we hit a red light. Didn't see the sun. All the time just to sit for us. You don't wanna try. Not gonna love us, real, but it's down for us. Now you can't decide. After all this time just to sit for us. Change your energy, yeah, you switch things up. Now you seem playing under me. Was that even for? Was you playing your games? Was you really bored? No. I really should've known. We were that right till we hit a red light.
All right, guys, we're going to go out on an Earth Day track. Who knows? Maybe we'll just keep dancing for a little while. I don't know. All right. Let's see here. New track, new music. Let's go, baby.